G'day, it's Joel Rasmussen for Southern Cross Combat, and ahead of her fight on UAE Warriors on October 22nd, I'm talking to Miss Jacinta Austin. Jacinta, thank you very much for the time. How are we today?
I'm very good, thank you. Ready to go. Packing today, ready to fly out tonight.
What is what does today feel like? Because outside of this media and then whatever else, it is kind of an in-between day where you're just kind of getting ready and getting excited. What is the day that you're leaving feel like?
Just kind of relief. Like everything's done. The all the hard parts of camp are done. The wait like from here is pretty much like I know how the descent goes from here. I know exactly what to do. I know I'm on weight. I know the training's done. I'm relieved. I get to go have a little hiatus for a week before the fight. Yeah, it's exciting.
In that hiatus for a week, as you said, are you someone who well, between now and the fight, even though you're not training as much because you don't want to injure anything or anything, are you only thinking about the fight? The next week for you just thinking about the fight?
Pretty much, yeah, my mind's just on the fight. I used to do it to a point that was probably concerning where it took away. Like I couldn't think of anything else, I couldn't do anything else, couldn't leave the hotel. But I've gotten better with that in time, so I can actually, go out with my team and enjoy like we are in another country. We've still got a week before the fight. Yeah, I've learned to like enjoy those little parts a bit more as well. So yeah, with experience, it's getting more fun each time.
How important is that to have, as you said, with experience, it gets more fun? How important is that for you to actually enjoy what you do?
It's very important. Like when I look back, like we've done so many trips like this now. When I look back on like all the photos and I tell people the stories, everyone always tells me like how amazing it is and how they're jealous, they wish they could do that. And I look at the photos and I think it is really amazing. And then I remember how much I'm probably not enjoying those moments at the time because I'm either like too stressed or whatever else is going on in the fight. And I look at those photos and I wish that I had enjoyed those moments more. But yeah, luckily I'm realizing that now while I've still got this lifestyle going. So yeah, I really just want to live in the moments and enjoy them a bit more instead of just like being completely stressed and having this looming like fight ahead of me the whole time that kind of takes away from the trip. So yeah, I'm glad I've realized that now because if you realize that once all the training and traveling's kind of come to an end, you really missed out. So yeah.
I know the last one you didn't travel much because it was at home. However, when did that change happen for you? Was there one fight where you were like, I can actually kind of enjoy this?
Um, No, I think it's probably just been like because I did fight at home last time, which was different. And just yeah, you look back at your other fights and your memories with your team and your coach and stuff and you wish like when you were away that you like yeah, had been a little more grateful in those moments. Because fighting at home was really cool, but it didn't have the same magic to it, I guess, as being away in another country for a couple of weeks and fighting in front of like 10,000 people. Yeah. So I just yeah, in between my last European trip and the last local fight, I kind of thought about how like lucky I am to have this lifestyle and I want to enjoy it a little bit more.
You use that term there, it doesn't necessarily have like the magic. I know you did kind of talk about it, but I'd like to hear more about that. About like, yeah, when you travel, there's probably this feeling of like us against them. You're coming over with your team. You're going to this
Yeah.
kind of new place. What is the feeling like of traveling to fight and coming in, and also how was that to fight at home?
It's always a little intimidating because we've always been the one going to generally the opponent's home country generally, or at least like local to them. So it is a little bit of like a you against the world feeling, and you do the big like 30-hour trek to Germany, and then you stay there for the week, and you just do fight stuff all week, and like for people like for me who like at home I still have my normal job, I still have my normal life when you go away and do that stuff, it's really cool. It's really, and you should enjoy it a little bit more than I have been. So yeah, that kind of adds like a really magical element to being away for a couple of weeks and then spending time after the fight in another country. Yeah, and then fighting at home. I still loved that because I had the comfort of my own bed all week, and I had all my food here, and I didn't have to travel, and I wasn't tired, and I didn't weight cut. That was all really cool. But yeah, I don't know. I guess magic is the word. It didn't have the same magic as my normal fights.
We talked ahead of that last fight on Eternal in Sydney, and we talked about family, and you talked about how your parents don't. It's hard for the parents to come to the fights,
Yeah.
understandably so. But was there any other family in attendance, and how was it if they were there to fight in front of them?
Yeah, I had some of my cousins there. Um I've got quite a few cousins and aunties here. So I had them come, and then I had my grandmother watching on the stream because the venue was a bit odd. Like there wasn't many seats there. Like it was a lot of standing admissions. So like for my like 90-year-old grandmother, that wasn't too great, and I'm fighting at midnight. So she's watching it on the stream at home. And but yeah, I had some cousins there, and I had obviously all the gym there, which they've never since my debut, they've never gotten to come and watch me. So that was really fun too.
Talking about that fight, you fought Amena Hadaya. If we can talk about that fight before we talk about the upcoming one, um, did that fight go as planned? We talked about before how she's a woman you had shared training time with. Of course, people evolve, but
Mhm.
did that fight kind of go how you thought it would?
Um, I knew she was going to be like frustrating to fight. She was more frustrating than I anticipated, with the movement and the circling. She definitely wasn't as chaotic as she was when we used to train together, which, I'd said every time we spoke about the fight that she's not going to be like she was. She was very inexperienced when we used to train before. So yeah, she was a little more refined in the fight than when we used to train together, which is only bound to happen with time. Her movement did like it was a little frustrating, but I knew like over the course of 5 rounds I would get to her, and I did get to her a lot of every round, I would say. But yeah, she really didn't bring the fight to me as much as I thought she would. I thought she would maybe like stand and bang with me, especially as you get into the later rounds. But she really just didn't. She really stuck to the circling and trying to pick for the entire 5 rounds. So I found that a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I mean, I got the belt, I got the win at a higher weight class, so I'll take it, run with it, learn from it.
When before the scorecards were read, did you think it was going to be a 50-45?
I knew that I had won every round, so that part wasn't surprising to me. It was surprising to me that she thought she had won. Um, but anyway, no, the scorecards didn't surprise me.
You talked about there it was both capturing a belt for you and also the weight class up. You talked about before about how it was nice not having to cut weight. To now be cutting weight again, is there a little bit of like, oh damn?
Um, it's it's worth it. The small price to pay in like the discipline is worth feeling in kind of prime condition that I do on fight night. I find like without like at flyweight, I don't have to like although I am disciplined, I don't have the same like I don't have to have the same level of discipline. And I found that I didn't feel quite as like physically peaking as I do when I go to strawweight.
And to win the professional belt, to win the eternal title, uh, how was that, and where does the belt live now?
So I was really happy to get the belt. I wanted that belt for a long time. I called for it for a long time when I was fighting with Eternal previously. And they couldn't make that happen at strawweight because of the lack of fighters in strawweight. So I'm really happy that I got it, even if it's up at flyweight. I still have the belt. The belt lives on the gym wall. So we're gonna get it like put in a nice casing and stuff. But for now, yeah, it's hung up on the gym wall. Yeah, I was, yeah, really happy that Eternal found a way to get me the belt that I continuously told them that I wanted to fight for. And I think it proved with like my time fighting with them and my overseas fights that I was like a good contender for it.
And Tapology, of course, is gospel. And just looking at it here, you sit as the number one pound for pound woman in Australia. Someone you've been sitting on that spot for a while. Uh, I believe I thought that fight between you and Amina was before it happened. I was like, this is the two best women in this area, and they're fighting each other. Like that's what that was. That was the two best. Um, has the UFC been in contact at all? You've made it clear that's what your intention is. Has there been any talks?
Well, obviously my management is quite close. Rival management is quite close with UFC. So from what they've told me, there's been a bit of back and forth, and from what I've also been told, like the UFC are obviously really adamant on finishes, and so I need to. That's my next. That's what I need to do next. Is I need to go and finish this fight. I am like I know I'm on the doorstep, and I am like a little upset that people lesser than me, even females, have gotten their opportunity and I still haven't. But I'm not gonna sit and sook about it. I'm just gonna go try and win again.
Talking about that, you touch on that there. This season of Contender, a lot of Australian and New Zealand talent has gotten that opportunity. Um, Only male talent so far, and the season's about to end. We've kind of shared words about it a little bit in passing, but how frustrating has that been for you to see people get picked over you?
I'm always happy for whoever like gets their shot. Like we're all working hard and everyone who has gone deserves it. But yeah, I just feel like there like especially there was a female opportunity and that obviously went to Lisa Kirikou this year or last year, whenever it was. Um yeah, I just feel like if you look at like what I've done even next to the males, like if there's someone that's got to go next, I feel like it's got to be me.
You mentioned there about the highlight on finishes. The UFC want finishes.
Yeah.
They don't shy away from telling people that. How does that make you approach a fight like this?
Well, I always, that's the thing is I always approach the fight with the aim to finish. I had a few close calls with Amena, but just couldn't quite get it done before the time went out. Um, but yeah, definitely been focusing this camp on different tactics to get me to my finishing key positions. So just a way to approach the fight that I can end up in my key positions that I know that if I get to those positions that I can finish.
The irony of yourself is you're a person who comes from a striking background, but has worked so much on your grappling that your grappling is now on par and it gets you those
Thank you.
finishes historically in your career. Those finishing positions, are you looking at more of the grappling or are they on the feet as well?
Um, a bit of both. Yeah, I'd say a bit of both. I think I'm definitely capable in both departments. I think as a smaller female, your path to finishing generally is more submissions or ground and pound. Just because like obviously like females, they still have female strawweights obviously still have power, but the I think it's a higher finishing rate if you look at the grappling.
You were fighting Valentina Escobar in UAE Warriors. How did this fight come your way?
I was obviously looking for a fight pretty soon off the back of the Eternal one. Eternal were trying to find some straw weights to bring over, but nothing kind of eventuated. Like, I don't know, they couldn't get it done. I'm not too sure on the details. And then I had a bunch of different offers. There's always offers overseas. So I had offers to go back to Octagon or UAE or Invicta, or there was offers left, right, and center. But Rival just wanted to pick the right opportunity, the right opponent. So I think UAE Warriors for the belt against a 6-0 who's definitely good but not unbeatable is like the right opportunity.
You just kind of shared some of your thoughts on her there, but what are your thoughts on Valentina?
Um, Same as Amina, she kind of moves a little bit differently. Like I think the way she moves is a bit unorthodox and it may be slightly frustrating to get to her for the opening of the fight. But in saying that, like she will also stand and bang and she's yeah, she's good everywhere. She's got good striking, good grappling, she's got some interesting judo. Um, but yeah, I have not seen her be tested against someone of a high level. If you do your research on her opponents, they've all been pretty much of losing records. So while she is good, I don't think she's going to be able to do to me what she's done to everyone else.
When I talk to Australian fighters, and to be fair, they're more people who only fight in Australia. When they get that international opponent, most of the time they have like no clue who it is. They're like, "Oh no, I just signed to fight this person."
Yeah.
You're someone who has made waves overseas, even during your like just purely striking career. Do you like before this? Did you know anything about her? Do you know much about your opponents if they're not in Australia when you signed to fight them?
I didn't know much about her. In the past, I've like heard the names, they pop up every now and again on different shows. But I hadn't heard of Valentina, no, not till I got her name. Probably yeah, about 7 weeks ago.
And then when something like that happens, is it like a we'll sign and then we'll work it out? Or do you take it? Do you do research, you and the team? Kind of how do you approach it?
Well, first thing you hear is like the name, where they're from, and their record. So like when you get thrown like a 6-0 for a title, you're like, all right, this is let's make sure we have a look at what we're dealing with here. So we have a little watch. Um, and yeah, like she's definitely good, but yeah, we just realized there's like holes in her game where I have strengths that might expose those. Yeah, just watch a few of her fights and yeah, decide whether we think it's a good career move, and this one is.
You talked about Eternal. We're looking at getting you some straw weights. However, things didn't work out. Uh, when you told Eternal, I'm going to go over to UAE Warriors and do this fight. How were they?
Well, Dom from Rival deals directly with them. I don't have any contact with them directly. But as far as I know, they were fully supportive. I'm still like retaining the flyweight belt, even though I'm fighting for another promotion. They've always been extremely supportive of me. Even when I was on contract with them a couple years ago, they couldn't fulfill the last fight of the contract, so they said, "Yep, go overseas, do what you need to do." And then I came back and fought for them again. So they've always, yeah, always really supported me. Very grateful for them.
And when they were trying to find you fights, sorry, I totally got the weight classes mixed up. Never mind, we're fine. I was
That's
gonna be
okay.
like, I was gonna be like, are you done? Were you upset when they were trying to find you straw weights? No, you would have preferred them to
I
find you
would have
straw
preferred
weights.
that. Yeah, it really, as a like already smaller person, it really makes a difference. 5 kilos makes a significant difference. And while I will go up in times of like when I have to, or when it's for something like the Eternal Belt, I will do it. But as far as like peak performance, I want to be in my own weight class for now.
So going forward, as you said, outside of very unique scenarios, you're done with flyweight.
If I don't have to do it, I won't.
And what is it with you and fighting for inaugural titles? We had a conversation about it with Eternal. That was the inaugural uh title at Eternal, and now you're fighting for another one. This will be the first belt. What is it with you and fighting for inaugural titles?
Mm, I don't know. I fought for the Octagon one as well. That wasn't. I don't know. Maybe this is like a time of development in females MMA where not every weight class has a title, or not every promotion has the female title on the line, and now there's more females that are more competitive, bring in stronger records, bring in a lot of experience. So promotions like UAE are putting up a belt because they see that we're both experienced, we're both of a high level, and it's worth the investment.
I asked you the same question before the Eternal fight, but you if you win this belt, you get your name stamped on it forever. You are forever the first person to hold it. What
Yeah,
does that kind of mean to you?
it's very exciting, very exciting. You can't like no matter what happens with your career, you can't take that away, and you'll always have that belt, and you'll always be the first one that won it, and you'll always be the person that set like after wherever I go, whatever I do after, there will always be, well, hopefully, like a strawweight title on the line for whoever competes in the future. Because of me and Valentina now.
It's maybe an odd way of wording it, but like, do you feel like a trailblazer? It's a very weird way of saying it, but like literally there hasn't been titles and then you join a promotion and they're like, and now we're gonna make a title. And then you fight for it.
Yeah.
Like, does it feel weird to be the one who's kind of doing that?
It feels exciting. It feels that promotions will look at me and be like, yeah, let's make it for a title because it's worth the extra rounds, it's worth the views, it's worth the extra money. Yeah, it's kind of a compliment that without us even asking for it, they'll offer it.
And now talking about all that and that status that it kind of brings, as you mentioned there, this is not the first time you fought for a title, so it'll be the third. You're walking out in these kind of, yeah, like other countries, even at home. What is the spectacle like?
Um, for UAE or
Just in general, like I don't know, you fought on UAE before.
yeah,
Yes, it was the first time we spoke to each other. So
yes, yes,
just in
for
general, but
UAE.
like, what is it like?
Um, it's pretty amazing. I'd have to say the most like electric one was my time in Octagon because of how many people go to those events and the whole thing is a spectacle and there's so much media all week and such high production and the crowds are huge, the fans are amazing. I would say Octagon is like the most exciting promotion that I've been a part of. Um, Eternal feels really close to home. It feels very like nostalgic of the old days. So it was very cool to do that. Um, and UAE felt like if it just felt the UAE kind of felt like an eternal away from home. It's a bit similar to that. Yeah. But I think when I look back at like the best like the most exhilarating fights will be my time with Octagon and then probably my time with K1 in Japan as well.
Now, forgive me for this because I'm sure I'm gonna leave something out because it's kind of going off the dome, and feel free to add anything
Okay.
in that you would like. But a victory here, that's two titles in two different weight classes, one an international title, one a local title. That's number one pound for pound status in Australia. That's ranking in the Asian region, the Middle Eastern region, and the European region. Uh, does that make you the next in line and the number one person from this region to be going to the UFC?
Definitely, 100% has been that way for a while. Um, yeah, um there's no other females that should get it. No chance.
And now, kind of off fighting, we talked about this the last time we spoke to each other, but I've seen the social posts as well. I feel like I don't know if I asked you this. Um, you have a nephew.
Yes.
How is it? How is being an auntie? I know it hasn't happened between the last time we spoke to each other. You've been an auntie not since the fight, but
Yeah.
just in general, like how is it to be an auntie and be like the auntie who fights?
It's really cool. He's such a strong boy. Like he's only one and he's like super athletic. So I'm convinced I'm gonna get him into like boxing or jiu-jitsu one day. But yeah, he's my first real interaction with like I've never like he's the first baby of the family. So he's the first interaction that I've had like spending like long periods of time around um a toddler. I love him. He's amazing. He makes me want to have one of him one day.
He is it your sister or brother?
Yeah, it's my sister's son.
How does your sister feel? If have you told her we're gonna get this kid in a fighting?
Um, oh, look, I think I'll get her around to the idea. I don't know that he'll ever fight, but he'll definitely train.
Get him in a
He's a little
boxing gym.
athlete. Yeah, he's a little athlete.
Would you as someone who came from a striking background but has fallen in love with the grappling, would you suggest you put him into boxing or put him into jiu-jitsu?
Mm, when he's really, really young, like so at our gym, we start the kids in jiu-jitsu from 5. Um, I think jiu-jitsu first, and then maybe when he gets a bit older, some boxing.
I feel like jiu-jitsu is the good one to start with.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I feel like it is.
Yeah, just really good for body mechanics and it's also like really fun. Like they don't even really realize they're doing jiu-jitsu. They just think they're playing a bunch of games, but they are learning the fundamentals. So yeah.
Does he understand the fighting? Like, do you talk to him? Not necessarily about the fight. You're not going to be like, we got this big fight coming up. But like, does he get it? Does he understand what his auntie does?
Nah, he's only one. I don't
Oh,
think he
fair.
understands at all. Yeah. Nah. Nah. But he will in a couple of years. He'll come watch.
So parents, they can't stand it, but with your nephew, you're like, he can make it. He can
You
come
know
put him
what?
cage
It's
side.
not, I'm not sure if it's not that they can't stand it. They don't want to watch me live and they don't want to watch the risk of me getting hurt. But they do always wait for the results and congratulate me. They do congratulate me now. And like every time I post something on Instagram or something, obviously you can see who sees it. And my parents are always there watching it all. Like they could skip through it, but they're there watching everyone. So I know they're watching and I know that they're interested in how I go and they are low key supportive. They just don't want to watch the live event.
Not the blood and the guts.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's fair
Did
enough.
did that was that a point that changed? Did they used to not necessarily watch it or anything like that?
I think they've just realized over time and my like time in the sport and persistence that it is a career and it's a professional sport. I'm not just in like some dingy little tavern fighting for $100. You know, I think that's how it comes off in the first place, and that's what it was in the first place, actually. But yeah, I think over time and over the rest of my family being quite supportive as well, they've kind of realized, yes, this is like a professional sport. My daughter is a professional athlete. Um, so yeah, it hasn't got the same like I don't know, people who don't know about it think of it in a really vile and cheap way. Yeah. And then maybe when you do start out and you're 19 and you're fighting in the back of like a tavern, maybe it does come across that way. But yeah, it's not that way anymore.
The as I refer to it, that's the hot dog and the handshake era. So
Yeah.
what are you fighting for? A hot dog and a handshake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, pretty
How
much.
to have that to have them now embrace that, understand it how they can, support you in whatever way that they can, uh what does that mean to you?
Uh, it means a lot because it's kind of even though maybe they won't say it, it is looked on with like a little bit more respect now. So, and it's something that I've dedicated 9 years to now. So it's nice to have that.
I asked about kind of for the sport being a little bit of like a modern day trailblazer and going to these places and winning these belts. And that's on, the world stage. But within your gym, you're doing all those things. So I don't need to relist them. But do you feel kind of like a leader in the gym?
Um, yeah, a little bit. Because we do have like a lot of fighters, but we don't really have anyone at the moment fighting at a professional level, and no one that's also really been doing it for as long as me. Actually, my coach fights at a professional level. That's not true. Um, yeah, I do. I feel like a bit of a source of, I don't know, like inspiration for the kids. The kids always ask me, there's this one kid in my class who every time he sees me, he'll be like, "Are you in the UFC yet?" And although every time I'm like, "Stop asking me that every day," um, it's cool to see that like he's interested. And then some of them will come in and like reenact like the back fists that I did in fights or something like that. Yeah, I love everyone there, and I want to yeah, keep growing the place and helping it become something better in the community.
And talking about the UFC, and obviously that is the ultimate goal. With this kind of the season of contenders wrapping up, I don't know if they're doing a road to UFC anytime soon. What is the path do you see? If you see yourself getting into the UFC, what do you see the path being?
Well, I did used to see the path as the contender series, and that was what I was aiming for this year. Um, but whether or not that happens next year, or whether or not I were to get signed directly, or whether or not like I don't even get there and I continue fighting in like these other great promotions and enjoying it and loving it. Like it used to be a be all and end all to be in the UFC, and although it still is, like I'm still having a great time and I've still got so many things I can do outside of that if it doesn't end up that way.
Where does that kind of acceptance and that ability to let go of that kind of come from?
I think like the desperation for it being my like be all and end all and it like completely um tying my identity and happiness to it has not been the most healthy thing. Um, so yeah, like I was talking about before, like learning to enjoy like the all the good moments and all the good stuff that I am doing. Otherwise I'm just gonna be like I'm absent in the moment because I'm just thinking about what's next all the time. And if like it so happens that that like big thing I'm working towards doesn't come, then I was just like miserable for the entire process. I want to actually like enjoy that process more. And if it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, there's still so many other good things that I'm going to be able to do.
So that's a theme we talked about earlier about that kind of ability to now enjoy the process more and be kind of in the moment. Uh, does that make the fights any easier? Does that make it any a little bit like not to say because you're not taking them seriously, but just being able to not have that kind of mental strain and pressure on yourself?
Yeah, like I'm still in every fight gonna go and look in there to like look to kill the person. But instead of having that constant, I need to do this or the UFC won't take me, or I need to do that or the UFC won't take me. I'm just gonna do the fight and just do the best that I can because even if it wasn't a goal for me to be a fighter anymore, as soon as I'm in the cage, like I'm gonna do everything I can to beat that person, regardless of what it's for. So nothing changes there.
We just talked about how your parents are now viewing this more as a legitimate sport. I hope they don't see that clip of you saying you're going out there to kill someone.
Yeah, I'm going out to kill someone, but there's always that third person that will stop you from actually killing them. So it's all good.
There we go. Damage control. Damage
Yeah,
control.
yeah.
Sorry, Jacinta's mum and dad. Um, um, what between now and the fight, what is on the cards for yourself? You said you're packing. You say tomorrow's the travel day.
Tonight,
Tonight's the travel day.
tonight, yeah.
What does between now and the fight look like for yourself?
Just yeah, got just packing, getting a few beauty tips done, got to get the eyebrows, got to get the lashes, got to get the nails done so that you don't look like a piece of worn out trash by the time you get there. Yeah, you just we girls call it the fight week glow up, and we need to have the fight week glow up.
Is this like me? Not going to experience that.
Mm.
What is it? What like is that very empowering?
Yeah, it just makes you feel a little bit nice because you felt pretty disgusting all camp. You've been beaten up all camp, especially if you're me who trains with guys every single day. You've been bashed every single day. My nails break from kicking elbows. My eyelashes come out from jiu-jitsu. Um, so it's nice to just go into the week feeling a little bit feminine.
I'm glad you used that word feminine because I actually wanted to ask about that. Do you think in certain aspects people forget about that with women's MMA?
Um, I think like our spectators do. And maybe even sometimes people you train with do. But we all like to like we're still girls and we still like to feel like girls and we still like to look pretty sometimes. And we still like the amount of girls you talk to that like our hair falls out from jiu-jitsu, the constant rubbing and friction and getting your head stuck in guillotines and having some of the Velcro caught in your hair. My hair snaps so bad. And yeah, just when you can have a week to feel like an actual feminine girl, it's very nice.
After the fight, are you getting a chance to hang out over there, or are you coming straight home?
Yeah, I'm actually going to spend a couple days in Dubai because I'd really wanted to check it out last time we went to Abu Dhabi, but time didn't allow. So this time, yeah, I'll do a couple days in Dubai. There's a museum I really wanted to check out. It's called the Museum of the Future. And there's also the world's biggest water park there. So maybe.
Maybe, bro. That's the top of the
Maybe.
list.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, want to check that out and get a bunch of good food and yeah, just like yeah, enjoy the process a little bit more, even if that's for a couple of days.
Awesome. Well, Jacinta, I thank you so much for the time. Safe travels. Best of luck in the
Thank you
fight. And
so
I thank you
much.
so much for the time.
Thank you for having me again. It's always good.
It is always good. Thank you so much.